Hey there, Dungeoneers! It's Luke here, and welcome to the very first episode of Black Desert Online Rags to Riches, a series where we are going to start at the absolute bottom of the barrel and work our way up to earning a solid character in Black Desert while teaching you guys along the way how you can do it for yourself. There's a lot of videos on YouTube about how to make money in Black Desert. That much I know. It is a huge topic because the entire point of this game is to get rich and buy good gear so you can own the people who don't have it. But a lot of these guides that I'm seeing, they're not super new player friendly. You know, they start off, their character is already level 58 and they already have, you know, 200 mil worth of gear, and then they're like, okay, this is when you start making money. A lot of them don't start off like from the bottom, you know, from the bottom where Drake came from, baby, the very, very bottom. And that's what I'm hoping to bring to you guys with this series. Now, I am definitely not the greatest Black Desert player in the history of the game, and I know that, and I'm sure you guys will know that too. But I still think it'd be nice for people to have a guide to watch when they don't know, like, when they're first starting off. Like, there's a lot of guides that show you once you're a little bit more into the game, but this is a bottom of the barrel, first starting off guide. No money, brand new account, no characters, no alts. This is the beginning of the journey into this amazing game. So hopefully you guys are going to enjoy it just as much as I am. So we're going to hit that start button and get right on in. All right, guys, now here comes one of the hardest decisions you are going to make in this game. And that is, what class do I want to play in this awesome game? Well, there are loads and loads of videos out there that'll tell you exactly what class you should play based on their opinion. But most of the time, they're, you know, I mean, everyone's entitled to their opinion, but the correct answer is play whichever one you think is coolest. Because, you know, there is a lot of, you know, min-maxing in this game. Like, people will say, you know, pick the wizard as your first character because he requires very little gear and is extremely good at grinding, and you can make loads and loads of money and use them to fund other characters. And yes, that is true. And yes, that might be something that you want to do, but a lot of people don't. Like, a lot of people don't actually care to min-max their character. Like, they are not looking to be competitive with the best players in the world. They are not looking to hit endgame by the end of the week. Some people just want to play the game. So the correct answer is to pick any character that you think looks cool, but make sure that you watch their awakening videos, which you can now do in the main menu since I think 2 weeks ago they added that in. Because the awakening is where you're going to spend most of your time grinding in this game. You become awakened once you hit 56 and do a quest, and it basically changes how the class plays completely. And they're way stronger, way more powerful, but once you hit that 56, 57, 58 area is when it really becomes a grind. Like, you can get to 56 in a night if you are really, really hardcore about it, but you are going to spend pretty much the rest of your Black Desert career in your awakening form. So don't pay too much attention to the main. I mean, don't get me wrong, the main comes in handy with certain characters, and some of them really rely on it, but the awakening is where most of your bread and butter is going to be. So just watch some awakening videos on all the classes and just pick the one that you think is the coolest, because you are going to be spending hundreds, if not thousands of hours looking at them using this awakening form. So you might as well make it look cool. I mean, yes, some are better than others for different things. Every class has a bit of a specialty, but I would say pick whatever you want. Now, if you were to ask my opinion on which is the best for a brand new player who just wants to grind and make money and min-max, it'll be Mystic until she gets nerfed, because she's completely broken, and if you haven't heard of her getting nerfed, then pick her immediately. Otherwise, Wizard and Witch are best for grinding, followed very closely by Dark Knight and Striker, followed by Musa, and then everyone else is a little bit below. Now, I'm not saying that the other characters are bad. Like, Warrior is one of the best PvE classes in the game. Berserker has an unreal grind once you hit 58. Like, all the classes in the game are completely viable and completely fantastic. Like, you will see forum posts about Ninja being the worst character in the game, and his PvE is horrible, and it'll give you this impression that if you pick Ninja, you literally won't be able to grind for money, and it's not true. It's just people min-max in this game extremely hard and want only the most efficient, most cost-effective way of doing literally everything. And, you know, you don't have to play that way. Like, a perfect example would be like the wizard versus the ninja, right? So the best grinder in the game versus what a lot of people consider to be the worst grinder in the game, followed closely by, like, sorceress, just because she needs a buff, ranger, and warrior, right? Like, the wizard will grind extremely effectively, and let's say he's in an area where he's making 15 mil an hour grinding. The ninja, with the exact same gear, would probably make, like, 9 mil an hour. Which, yes, that's kind of bad in terms of comparing it to the wizard. But if you just want to play a badass ninja and the wizard looks boring to you, then you're going to be spending hours doing it anyway. You might as well just play the ninja. And yeah, you're not being the most efficient, but you're having fun. And when you're having fun doing something, you can just spend more time on it and make the money. There is every single one of these classes, there is somebody playing it at endgame level like 61, 62, and completely mashing people. It doesn't matter which one you pick. They are all good in different ways. There isn't any that I wouldn't recommend. Just play what you think looks badass. Now, as for what class we are going to play in this series, I am going to break the Black Desert video creator meta. And by that, I mean every single person who makes these types of videos uses a wizard for the maximum efficiency grind. But I just went out and I just told you guys to pick what you think looks cool and looks fun. And I'm not just going to be like, okay, you can do that, but I'm going to play a wizard because it's the best money in the game. No, 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 no. That ain't me. I am actually going to pick the most underrated class in the game, the Valkyrie. I mean, look at her. Look how cute she is. Oh my God. We're going to play a Valkyrie, boys. And I mean, it's just to break the meta realistically. Like, there are just so many people out there who make videos about grinding, but they always do it on the wizard. They're always playing the wizard because they want to be as efficient as possible. But I'm going to show you guys, you can still become really, really rich, make loads of money, have massive amounts of fun, and be completely, you know, useful and wonderful in this game playing a really underrated class. And I think the Valkyrie is the most underrated class in the game. So I'm going to hit create. I'm going to quickly time skip here until I create my character. And then once she's created, I will come back and we will start the journey. All right, boys, we are back. And I know what you're thinking right off the bat. You're like, bro, Luke, you dirty weeb. You picked a lightning lookalike. And while it's true, I've never actually played Final Fantasy. I know it's kind of weird to say, but I really like the template. I think it looks really good. And shout outs to Pain Giver for creating this. And I just think she looks pretty badass. So we're going to use this one and we're going to pick our name. And because we're going to be using this to grind, we are just going to go grind machine. Hell yeah. Oh, already in use. RIP. All right, so here we are. Level 1. Now we can configure, apparently, our screen vibration effects. Now, I would honestly recommend you put this kind of high, because the higher you put it, the better the game looks and the better it feels. God, this game becomes super satisfying if your computer can handle cranking up those camera effects. So turn those up. Next, camera imaging effects. I'm just going to put everything to moderately high. Now this here, if you click on something on your map, like let's say a quest objective or something like that, you can pick if you want something on the ground to show you where it is. I would personally click nothing. And the main reason I would say nothing is you're still going to get a little arrow next to your character. I don't know if you can see it on the picture there, but you are going to get a little tiny arrow pointing towards it anyway. And you're also going to see this giant ass beam of light coming out of the objective into the sky. And you'll be able to see it on your map. So having yet another thing on the ground leading you to it just kind of makes the game feel, I don't know, it breaks the immersion. I wouldn't recommend it. And then graphic environment settings. I don't actually know what this is, so I'm just gonna go medium. This wasn't in the game actually last time I played for the first time anyway. So we are in the game, as you can see, brand new fresh account, no knowledge on anything in the town, no knowledge on anything on the map, and we're starting fresh. 0 contribution, 0 energy, everything brand new, just like if you were starting the game right off the bat. Now, you can watch the cutscene if you so choose. I didn't. Now, first thing you're gonna wanna do, hit escape. Go to your settings, and then go to game settings. Scroll down a little bit, and you're gonna see this thing that says turn off system notifications. All right, now, it's kind of weird. The ones that you have checked are the ones that aren't going to show up at the top of your screen. It's kind of backwards, kind of weird. But basically how it works is all these things here will flash up on the top of your screen over and over and over again. So what I recommend is right off the bat, turn off everything except the first two. Ability up is pretty useful because it kind of tells you when you're first playing the game what abilities you've unlocked. And when you're in a safe zone or when you're in a danger zone is a great one to have on as well. Everything else is really not important. Like, you don't need to know about guild wars or the horse market or, you know, general trade. You don't need to worry about any of that right off the bat just because you're low level. Like, you don't need that stuff on, and it just clutters up the screen. So turn those off. Outside of that, everything else I think is okay. I can't think of anything else that you would really want to turn off. You should be completely fine. Adjust your, you know, music volume, all that type of thing. And if you can also get it to work, scroll down in your video settings. Yeah, your video settings, and find adjust vision range and just crank that right up. Because that'll give you a bigger field of view. It'll help reduce, what's it called? Motion sickness. It'll help reduce motion sickness. And even if you don't think you're going to get it, sometimes in this game when you're just, you know, whipping your camera around for hours on end grinding, you're going to feel kind of crappy. So here we go. Moseying on around. Look at that. Woo! All right, we going. We're going to learn how to sprint. And for the very beginning of the game, just start off doing what the Black Spirit tells you to do. Do what the Spirit tells you, at least until you get to the first upgrade, because then you're going to unlock a couple extra things. So you press Control, and you're going to see how to click on all your stuff. So yeah, so basically I'm going to actually jump ahead really quick. You saw how to set up all your stuff. All your menus and everything should be set up. So just follow what your little spirit does here, and I will catch you guys at the end of his little quest line. Alright guys, so we have finished the initial quests of the game. Just killing a whole bunch of stuff, doing some grinding. We ended up around level 12 before we got the quest to go to the guard camp, and now we're just about to head over there. Now before I go over there though, it reminded me there was a couple things I wanted to show you before we continue on with the series. The very first thing I wanted to show you is if you go into your Edit UI button, you can adjust anything that you see on screen. And one of the things that I usually recommend is you turn off this game tips thing at the bottom here, because it just stays on screen at all times and distracts you. And you can turn off other things too, like you can turn off main quest widget. I usually have quest widget turned off, because questing isn't like super important at the very, very beginning of the game. I mean, it is for the main quest, but your side quests, they're not super, super important right off the bat, especially when you're just getting your initial start. So do that, hit save, preset 1, whatever, and you're all good. Now, the second thing I wanted to show you is the chat options. What I always recommend to people new to Black Desert, get rid of this one, because that's just sort of server stuff. And then down here, you can have 4 different chats, right? Role play, stuff like that. I will usually delete all of them, except for chat 1, which is everything. And then if you click the plus sign, you can create a new chat. And what I usually do is I turn off everything, completely silent, so you don't see anything, including system. That's super important. And then the only thing I have turned on is guild chat, party chat, and whispers. Now, when you have this turned on, it means that you won't see anything like outside of your little world here. You know, you got your whispers from your friends. If you're grinding with someone in a party, they can chat with you, and you have your guild. I mean, you can also turn on general if you want general as well. That'll show people near you. Excuse me. And it'll pretty much just make it so that, you know, you're not getting spammed all the time, because there is a lot of spam in the chat, a lot of trolls, a lot of discussions about traps and Alienware, but we won't get into that in this episode. And yeah, I just wanted to show you guys that before we move on, just because I think it's really, really important, and if I don't show you now, I'm gonna forget. So anyway, I'm gonna head over to the Western Guard camp, do a little quest line there, and I will meet you guys in the spooky cave. Alright guys, now here we are in the Ancient Stone Chamber. Now there's some really cool cutscenes that you'll see before you get to here, and I highly recommend you watch them. They are really well animated, you know, they're pretty solid voice acting, they're just kind of cool. But this is sort of the end of our adventure here. We're gonna begin the next video trying to get some gear, do a little bit of grinding and some fun stuff like that. This is just sort of the introductory video. Now the main reason I'm stopping here is once you're completed this quest here, you get all these options: enhancement, transfusion, item reform, and all these things that we need for later in the guide. And once you're at this point, you don't technically need to continue questing. It's highly recommended that you spend the remainder of your time questing here, just because as you complete the quest, you gain contribution points, you gain, I believe you get weight limit, inventory space, and it does take you on a really cool adventure through the world. There's some great sightseeing moments, just some really cool stuff. But I'm gonna do this as more of like a power level to try and get money, not really more of a let's play. This is more of like a walkthrough slash guide slash tip video series, I guess, because there's gonna be a lot more than one. But anyways, guys, thanks for coming to the introduction. Stay tuned for the next video where we actually start really accelerating our progress, and hopefully you enjoyed what you've seen so far. I'll catch you in the next video. Once again, my name is Luke, and I'm glad you came by to watch. Have a great night, everybody.